Good afternoon, guys. I have discussion aid for you today. We are digging into adapting senior home care to fit their needs. Okay, so here I made a little narrative for you. I'm going to read it and we're going to go through the whole process. So, shall we get started? Okay, here we go. The title is The Quiet Beginning. A house holds a life the way a pocket holds a handkerchief, softened by years, creased with memories, carrying the scent of all the days lived inside it. In the beginning, the changes arrive like faint shift of wind before autumn, a misplaced word, a forgotten appointment, a hesitation at the top of the stairs. Nothing dramatic, nothing that shouts, just small rearrangements in the familiar landscape. Care enters with the same gentleness. A caregiver's presence feels like a warm shawl laid across the shoulders, light, reassuring, unobtrusive. A hand steadies the elbow on the way to the mailbox. A meal is prepared, not just for nourishment, but for comfort, seasoned with spices that spices the older adult has loved for decades. A story is remembered and retold, not because it's new, but because it's cherished. This early this early tending is delicate, a kind of quiet choreography that keeps independence intact while smoothing the rough edges of daily life. It is not a takeover, but a partnership, a cane placed exactly where the next step will land. When when needs shift, then comes the moment that changes the room's temperature. A fall, a dangerous, a sudden hospitalization, a diagnosis, a sudden hospitalization. The air feels the air feels different. The house wants a place of easy, certainty now needs new scaffolding. Care stretches to meet this altered shape, expanding like lanterns glow in deepening dusk. more visits, more structure, a schedule that holds medications. Meals, therapy sessions, and rest. Caregivers learn the new map of a body that has changed, how it moves, where it hurts, what it fears. Adaptation becomes an art form. Furniture shifts to create safer pathways. Drawers bloom with labels like small signposts guiding memory. Night lights scattered themselves like constellations to soften the dark. Caregivers learn the language of pauses, the meaning of a tightened jaw or a distant gaze. They respond not only to tasks, but to the unspoken requests that live in the silence. The emotional landscape. Aging is not only physical, it is emotional weather. Grief rolls in like fog. Loneliness settles like dust. The slow erosion of roles, parent, partner, neighbor, can feel like losing pieces of oneself. Here, care becomes companion, gardener, witness. A caregiver might bring a cup of tea at 3 each afternoon, a ritual that anchors the drifting hours. They might walk slowly around the block, pointing out the first crocus of spring. They might lift a photograph from the shelf and hold it gently, inviting the story behind it to surface again. These, these gestures are soft architecture, structures that hold a person upright when the world feels unsteady. They are not tasks, they are offerings. In the hush between chores, a laugh returns, a memory brightens, a silence is honored rather than feared. Turning points. There are crossroads that demand courage. The day the diagnosis is spoken out loud, aloud. The night wandering begins the moment the family realizes the old routines will not return. These turning points are tendered and raw, requiring clarity and compassion. Good care becomes a translator, turning medical language into human choices. It helps families speak openly about fears, hopes, and the small comforts that matter most. Warm socks, familiar music, the scent of lavender at bedtime. Sometimes the answer is more care at home. Sometimes it is a different kind of home altogether. Either way, continuity, familiar faces, steady voices softens the edges of change and keeps dignity intact. The continuum. Aging is not a cliff, but a shoreline, a place where the tide moves in and out. Home care moves with that tide. It is flexible, sometimes a whisper of help, sometimes a steady presence through the night. It grows and contracts, uh, learns and relearns, always attentive to the person who or the to the person at its center. This care is a relationship braided from skill and tenderness. It honors the small rebellions of autonomy and the large needs of vulnerability. It keeps memory alive with songs and photographs. It keeps the body safe with rails and routines, keeps the spirit buoyed with laughter and companionship. Above all, it remembers that a life is not a problem to be solved, but a story to be kept company with. The quiet promise. In the end, the trust measured, the the truest measure of home care is not the list of tasks completed, but the way a house continues to feel like home. It is the way a hand is held through a thunderstorm, The way a favorite chair is kept in the sun. The way a name is spoken with care, even when it is hard to find. It is the promise that someone will notice the small changes and answer them with skill and heart. Aging asks us, Aging asks for help. Love answers. Home care is the language of that answer. Patient, adaptive, and lyrical in its devotion. Okay, guys, that is your A. I will be back on with B shortly. Give me a few minutes for a break, and I will be back on with B. For now, Gator Wellness. Take care, folks.